Let's roll.
James Merrillat starting everybody off with a let's roll, not a let's ride, as the Broncos lead 13-10 over the Chargers at halftime. I don't know how to feel about this game, you guys. We've got Will Peterson, James Merrillat, Rachel Veal all hanging out with you for the next 15 minutes as we break down the first half action we just experienced. And I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel, because it's finally like, hello offense, where have you been? And now the defense is struggling. But let's go back to that last drive, because obviously a huge play, but they again can't finish in the red zone. Will, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Russell Wilson has 3 completions over 35 yards. Mm-hmm. So that's huge, right? The big play has been there for the Broncos tonight. Obviously, the touchdown to Dulcich, the play to Judy, and then the last play to Hamler there. And Rachel, that drive was just a little chaotic because they were out of timeouts. I actually didn't mind the 3 shots to the end zone, particularly the last one had a chance. It's a shame Jerry Jeudy didn't see the ball on second down. But listen, it was encouraging. They have a lead. Again, Wilson's putting up big numbers thus far. Probably the best he's looked. I know he looked pretty good in Vegas, but then that third quarter was such a bummer. So, yeah, there's a lot to be encouraged by. But at the same time, they're only up 13-10. So it's a lot of, I want to be optimistic, but also realizing we're still very much in a tight ball game because of mistakes the Broncos have made.
I was going to say, we're getting a very peppy Will Peterson today, James.
Yeah, no, I'm with Will, though. I think offensively, in the passing game, there's a lot to be encouraged about. I thought Russell Wilson looked great. Look, I feel like I've been the lone defender of Russell Wilson in this town for 11 days. If you can't see the difference between Russell Wilson and the yahoos we've had playing quarterback in this town since Peyton Manning retired, then you're just watching a different game than I am. All of us are frustrated with the results. All of us are frustrated with the fact this team is 2-3. But the guy makes plays, and he's done it multiple times tonight. The KJ Hamler play there on that last drive, it's a touchdown if he gets any protection. The fact that he even got the ball out and got it down there to him was an amazing play. And, yeah, it was another red zone misfire, but Will's right. You have 1st and goal from the 9 with no timeouts. You can't run the ball. You can't throw the ball short of the end zone and get tackled. You're kind of backed into a corner there. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass on that one. They didn't have a ton of options, but I thought Russell Wilson looked really, really, really good in the first half. Broncos still can't run the ball. What do they have? 17 yards rushing on 5 carries. So they're not even attempting to run the ball. But the biggest issue in the game, they're up 10-0. They've got all the momentum. And then the Broncos defense allows 8 consecutive third down conversions. The Chargers keep the ball on 2 drives for 28 plays and more than 14 minutes. Broncos just never got the ball again until that last drive. They had a 3-and-out, had it for 1:40, and it was done. It just is what this team has been for so long. When one side gets going, the other one falls apart, and it's why they can't ever put a complete game together, because the offense looks good tonight, and the defense, just can't get off the field, at least on those last 2 drives.
And the defense is meeting a very talented offense in this Chargers. Will, for you, when you look at this defense, where are you most frustrated?
Oh, it's Damari Mathis. I mean, I know that a couple of the calls were a little dicey, but he's got 3 DPIs in one half of football. Mm-hmm. The Chargers are clearly targeting him. And, guys, they activated Michael Ojemudia. Where is Michael Ojemudia? Haven't we seen enough Damari Mathis at this point to get him off the field, get Ojemudia on the field? Listen, I get he's a rookie and he's in a tough spot, but they are just picking on him. He doesn't look good tonight. And I just think if Ojemudia is healthy and you activated him, then you got to play him. And guys, obviously this outlines what we all knew, but we're seeing it in on our screens now. The Ronald Darby injury was just a killer because he was playing really well through 5 games, and then he tears his ACL. So the thing I'm most frustrated about, Rachel, is Damari Mathis. I don't want to pick on him too much, but he's having a really tough night out there in Los Angeles.
I'm going to defend Damari Mathis a little bit. I like the fact that he's playing aggressive, right? He's not Rock Alexander in Indianapolis against Peyton Manning in a playoff game where he's just off the guy and getting picked apart. Like, he's right there. He's on it. He's being aggressive. I think all 3 calls were bogus. I think all of them were, hey, let the guys play a little bit. So I think he deserves a little bit of a break. My 2 biggest disappointments with this defense, one, Justin Simmons. Where's he been tonight? I mean, listen, Amari Mathis, whether you think they were good calls or not good calls, he's a rookie, and they're going at him. Justin Simmons is supposed to be, at least in some circles, the best safety in football. Raise your hand if you notice number 31 out there. So that would be nice to see him show up. And 2, as good as this defense has been in spots tonight, particularly with the pass rush, guys, to win this game, they're going to have to force a turnover. They need a momentum-changing play, and they just can't seem to get it. That comes on 3rd downs, or it comes with the turnover. They got to have one of those in the second half.
Oh, I agree. Totally critical. Andrew Mason put up 3 numbers that the Broncos needed on DenverFan.com earlier this morning. And one of them being that when Justin Herbert has thrown 2 interceptions, that he's 0-6, possibly could be 0-7 if the Broncos could force 2 turnovers. So it would be crucial for the Broncos. That includes Justin Simmons in there, because you're right, James. We really haven't seen him to be able to put that pressure on. And I feel like we've seen more of that out of the Chargers defense on Russell Wilson with a little nerve-wracking passes there, or throw-ups, I should say. But we need to talk about Greg Dulcich, because Justin Simmons comes off of IR. So does Greg Dulcich. And holy smokes, how about 3rd-round draft pick absolutely making his mark for his first game in the NFL, Will?
Yeah, Dulcich looks awesome. I self-reported to Old Takes Exposed because I said earlier today, I don't think Dulcich is going to be the key that unlocks this offense. Well, in that first half, maybe he was, right? Obviously, the first down to keep the drive alive on 3rd down was nice. Wilson missed him the drive before, where McManus kicked the field goal, and then the touchdown. I mean, Russell Wilson stepping up in the pocket, Dulcich getting open into space. That was just beautiful to watch. Albert O was supposed to be the guy the day they traded Noah Fant to Seattle, and now he is inactive, and you can tell why. Dulcich has a chance to be special, and I know it's 1 half of football, but that's the most production we've seen out of a Denver tight end since who, guys? Julius Thomas? Like, it's been years and years since we've had a tight end that is worth getting excited about. I really liked what I saw from Dulcich in the first half.
Yeah, Will, I'm going to throw myself on that same self-reporting card there. On coffee break today, I think I told Rachel and DMAC, it's like putting a child in charge of the Titanic because they played with a rubber ducky. That was, probably a little bit harsh, but I was with you. It's like, how much impact is he going to make? He did make a big impact in the passing game, but one of their many bubble screens that didn't work. Did you watch Dulcich and Sutton both just stare at the corner and let him go make the tackle? It's like 2 guys just watched it. Somebody's got to put a hand on him. So look, he's a better receiver than Albert O at this point. I'm ready for the Albert O era to be over, because I'm tired of listening to the announcers just botch Okwegbenam every single week. It's not that hard. And Troy and Joe were all over it again tonight in terms of multiple pronunciations in like a 2-paragraph span. But yeah, Dulcich looked good. I was skeptical, and he looked really good in the first half.
It was like there was some sort of bet behind the scenes, because for Albert O being a healthy scratch, they sure included his name a lot in the broadcast.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely one of those where somebody put somebody up. It was some sort of dare going on with the production crew.
Yeah.
Well, and I think real quick on that too, I think Albert O's probably played his last snap with the Broncos. They like Saubert. They like Tomlinson. They have Andrew Beck. Dulcich is now healthy. If he can't even get a jersey tonight, then you're either just should cut him or just try to trade him for a 6th, 7th round pick. I don't know if you could even get that for him, but I think the Albert O era, as James alluded to, is probably done in Denver.
I actually asked Mason Cecil about that at our pregame, and both of them thought, no, it's not over, because injuries are happening, and this team has dealt with so many of them that they wouldn't be surprised if we see him at some other point this season. So it's going to be interesting, but the tight ends, you're finally able to cheer for somebody, and I think, too, a lot of it has to do with the fact that defenses don't know what they're going to get with Dulcich out there. One thing that was interesting, too, is how many different receivers did Russell Wilson target before the touchdown? I believe it was 9 different receivers. He did not, pass to multiple people. I'm getting all like worked up now, but he hit different targets every single time. Let's just make this simple up until that touchdown with Dulcich, that was the second reception from him. So that's exciting to see when there's so many. We've talked about just the depth of this team, and while there are a lot of injuries too, it's nice to finally see, them be able to spread out, and it's not just Cortland Sutton having to make all the big plays. That was a really long-winded answer there, Will.
Yeah, but I see your point. I mean, listen, he hit Kendall Hinton. He hit Andrew Beck. He hit Eric Tomlinson. He's hit Hamler. He's hit Judy. He's hit Sutton. He's hit Dulcich. The list goes on. And it is a reminder that, while some of these guys have been underwhelming, there are still plenty of capable weapons for Russell Wilson to utilize. And I'm all for him spreading the ball out. I mean, that's the mark of a good offense, is that you trust all these different dudes. And, I mean, I think almost every eligible receiver or tight end has already caught a pass in this game. I'm not sure, does Saubert have one? He might be the only guy that doesn't have at least one catch for the Broncos in that first half.
I will say this. There will never be an easier game for Greg Dulcich to sneak up on the opposing defense than tonight. So it's like a pitcher in baseball, their first outing or whatever the case may be. There's a ton of examples in sports. It'll be, hey, what does he do when the defense adjusts to him? Does he have a counter punch? Is he able to still get that open and make plays? Great start. Not trying to be a wet blanket, but the first game, especially those first couple of receptions, always the easiest because nobody's prepared for you. They've never seen him play. He didn't even play in the preseason, so that certainly gave the Broncos the element of surprise tonight.
What adjustments do you anticipate the Chargers to make coming into the second half, Will?
Well, I mean, obviously the run game is working with Eckler, and outside of Damari Mathis, it's not like the passing game has been all that impressive. Their biggest weapon has been flags. That's how they've moved the football, it feels like, the most on Denver. So I just think they're just going to Eckler in the second half, and the game is going to be decided on if the Broncos can stop him or not. And, no Josie Jewell, it's Alex Singleton. That makes me a little nervous that if Eckler's getting 5-6 yards a carry, then the Broncos could be in trouble. And then James pointed out too, I mean, the third down thing is just kind of ridiculous. The Broncos defense has got to get off the field. So that is maybe not a Charger adjustment. That's a Denver adjustment. That's been a strength of this team thus far in this season. They've got to be better on third down in the second half.
I like to be hyperbolic, so I'm going to run this one by you guys. The opening drive of the second half is the Broncos season. You go down and score a touchdown. You're up 20-10. You've got control of the game. You're in great position to win in LA. You come out and go 3 and out, and those are the two extremes, right? But we've seen a lot more 3 and out this year than we've seen touchdown drives. You go 3 and out, you punt it away, you give the Chargers good field position, they go down and tie it up or take the lead. We all know where this thing is going. The Broncos season is on the line here in about 2 minutes.
And how do you anticipate it to go?
It's going to be 20-10 in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I like it. Will, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there with James, but I do think it's a big drive, right? This is why you defer, because you want the football. You got points before the half. You have the chance to double them up, and no field goals, right? Because 16-10 doesn't make you feel all that good. A touchdown gives the Chargers the lead. You go down, you score a TD. If you're Denver, like James said, 20-10. Okay, then that defense can start flying around again, create a little separation, sort of redo your 10-0 lead that you ultimately blew. Well, you've got a chance to get it back here in about 45 seconds, I guess.
Here's why I asked you this, and you guys must be a little bit ahead of me for the game time clock, but I asked you
I can't see it. I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. So I asked you what adjustments you saw the Chargers making, because to be honest, I'm not sure if we're going to see a whole lot from the Broncos defense when it comes to adjustment. It just feels like, and James pointed it out, when one side of the ball is doing really well, we're just not able to see the adjustment from the other side of the team. So it's going to be interesting, but I agree with you from the offense point of view, James, that this first drive is a big deal. But I also think that for the Broncos defense, that if they can go out there too when Justin Herbert gets out there with the ball and force them to go with 3 and out, I think that the momentum is definitely going to shift, because right now it kind of feels like it's on the Charger side. I don't know about you guys. I felt very weird coming into this halftime where I was like, yeah, the Broncos have the lead, but I just felt like we were on a really high and then it was slowly going downhill. So I don't know about either one of you if you felt that way. James?
I think that last drive kind of salvaged it because it was all Chargers up to that point. I mean, they had the ball for the entire second quarter. That last drive gave the Broncos a sliver. Now they need to go out and kind of have one of those time-consuming ball control, march right down the field, get in the end zone, take control of the game right here, right now.
Well, let's see it, because my TV just changed, with me in the second half is underway. Make sure you join us after the game. Hopefully, a Broncos win. It's going to be myself, DMAC, and James Merrillac. Come hang out with us post-game live. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Bye, everyone.